New on Curiosity Stream.
From time to time, we have collisions between asteroids and the Earth.
We track them, we study them, we hope the big one never comes. Don't look up, it's Asteroid Rush. And alligators. They rarely get sick. They even outlasted the dinosaurs. Could they hold the secret to human longevity?
Their blood could have antibacterial applications.
Wade into the investigation on immortal alligators. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the Men's Room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk and Steve throw hill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. Real quick, we got a comment here. It says, if I think right, Quincy Jones has a half-brother who's a federal judge here in Seattle. By the way, get with the times. We call that a mixed kid.
I thought you called it a stepbrother.
Yeah. Today we chose veteran reporter.
Damn.
He's half-brother.
Half judge.
I feel like we've been somewhere and somebody said that.
Today we chose veteran reporter Luis Mestres of Mallorca, Spain. Now, he was recently assigned to the Palma airport to cover the large number of international flights that are in and out of the airport. This as millions of people come and go for their Easter vacation. So basically, it is the same pointless kind of reporting that we endure here. But thanks to two unsuspecting women, the otherwise mundane report, it actually got very interesting. So the two women, along with hundreds of passengers, they're walking out of a gate in the background of Luis's report. Obviously, a plane had just landed, big cavalcade of people walking out. Now, unbeknownst to Luis, because he's facing the camera doing his report, one of the women had her arm tightly wrapped around a 4.5-foot tall, bright pink inflatable penis. Now, I believe Mike's posted. Did you post the video? Now. It's fantastic because the thing is, they're just walking out with a bunch of other people. He has no idea. He's just doing his report. It's all in Spanish. I have no idea what he's saying. He could be saying, "I think there's a penis behind me," but they all walk out, and then you see a moment where one of the two women realizes they might be on camera, and they not quite abrupt, but they kind of exit stage left at that point.
You said that was like a bachelorette party?
Okay, so the article that I read said, "Look, we don't know what their intent was. They believe they're here for a bachelorette party," but the story was out of an English newspaper. Do you have any idea what they call a bachelorette party in England?
It's a hen party.
It's a hen do.
A hen do.
Not Hindu, a hen do.
I see what they did.
Yeah, they were like,
but I think you still have stag nights.
You still have stag nights, and then they came here for a hen do. All right, so let's drink. We pour this booze, and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy!
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hola bichola.
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
And Steve throw hill, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
Oh, I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Hello, Willie. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola, bichola.
Hola. I apologize. I was speaking to my penis, but since you're here, Willie, do you understand how this here game is played?
I do.
Fantastic. You have your choice of one of three stories, The Wonderful World of Drugs. We have Bite Me. In other words, what did someone find in their food? And finally, Interior Decorating, where you guess the foreign object that ended up on the inside of someone.
How about interior decorating?
All right, Willie, here is your story. Just so you know, this came from an actual medical journal. So the way they write things is a little different than your average article. But as it says, a 54-year-old female was presented to the surgical emergency room with intestinal obstruction with a lump in the left part of her hip bone. And a normal rectal examination, basically, did a contrast-enhanced computer tomography, and it revealed the presence of an object within the rectum with free air pockets and distended gut loops around it. So in other words, this thing got inserted, all the gas started building up around it. Now, the patient underwent an emergency exploratory laparotomy, and it revealed matted gut loops in the left hip bone with minimal fecal contamination of the cavity. That's actually good news. Now, after the gut loops were separated, the object then came into view. So understand, they opened her up. There's the gut loops. They move them, and they go, aha, here's the thing that this person put in the rectum. Well, unfortunately, the object had perforated the rectal wall as it was laying on the outside of the rectum. Now, the object was retrieved, and as the surrounding rectal wall was not healthy, a different procedure was done where doctors removed part of the colon and the rectum. So this woman did a little damage to herself by inserting this object. The question is, what did she cram up her backside to lead to all this? Was it a battery, a candle, a toothbrush, or a screwdriver? So battery, candle, toothbrush, or screwdriver, one of those four objects was inserted into her rectum, cut open part of the rectal wall, and led to some more complications.
Where was it at?
This was in... I don't know. They don't say specifically where it was. I believe it was England. I'm not 100% on that.
Well, I hope she had fun, whatever it was.
I hope so, man. If that's the price you're going to pay, I hope it was a real good night.
1,000,000 shot, Doc.
I don't know why, but instinct says battery. What do you guys think?
You think she was singing a
maybe
Metallica
you're
song?
using a toy and it dies, so you're like, screw it, I'll just put a battery in. It could be, but
That's my thought. Usually my thought.
I don't know. I'm going with toothbrush.
Ted, you're going toothbrush.
Yeah.
You think she has teeth in her butt?
No, but I think I have one of the knockoff versions of the vibrating toothbrush.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes sense.
I'm going.
That's where I'm going.
Yeah, trust me, I've got the thing in my gums. I'm like, I wonder.
Willie, I'm going to go candle.
Like a candle in the wind.
You going to stick with battery?
I'm kind of rethinking toothbrush because it just sounds like something infected, like a bacteria from a mouth or something weird going on in there.
Toothbrush is absolutely disgusting, but
I'm going to stick with my first one. I'm going to go battery.
Okay, we're going to find out what she had stuck in her. Was it a battery, a candle, a toothbrush, or a screwdriver next?
That was a tease.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Categories: interior decorating on profile. This 54-year-old female admitted to a hospital after an object was lodged in her backside. Actually affected her hip bone, gas and everything else. Object was retrieved, but she had some damage on her insides. They had to try to correct. Question is, what was stuck? A battery, a candle, a toothbrush, or a screwdriver?
And Willie, that is the very question that we posed to you. But let us start with our very own Miles Montgomery.
Oh.
You went with the candle, which in my mind would probably be the least dangerous.
Candle in the wind.
The candle in the wind, yeah, but I guess it depends on the size of the candle. A birthday candle, I go, okay, Yankee candle.
Candle in the wind tunnel.
You got a big old butt. Willie, you went with the battery. I'm afraid that is not the answer either. God, you do an amazing job of that. And Ted, you went toothbrush.
I did go toothbrush.
Okay.
Nice. We're assuming it's electric. To me, that's the only none of these things are a good idea. But if it's an electric toothbrush that vibrates, you go, okay, I see where your head was at, right?
Mm-hmm. Oral B.
Yeah. The B is for butt.
Right, because, you can buy them anywhere now, and they...
Oh, yeah. They call it massage your gum. You can massage your anything.
Those aren't your gums.
Now for all TV news all time, it's time for TV Time with Ted.
Buffalo gums.
Because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, the men's room presents TV Time with Ted.
All right, your choices. You got Seth Meyers.
All right.
The Jimmies.
Fallon Kimmel.
Bill Maher. Weekend Update. Ted Smith.
Is it Ted or is it late night?
It is right there in the title. All these guys have teams of talented writers that help them come up with their monologues each and every night. It is up to you to determine, is this an actual late night joke and from whom, or could it be a The Ted Smith original?
It has been revealed that Ohio is the only state to have an official rock song. Congratulations, Ohio. You're most famous for having a rock song and a tuba player who dots the I.
The Ted Smith.
Yep.
Through college football.
Specifically that. Because you and I have gone on about the fact nobody's excited to play the sousaphone, but if you play for the Ohio State Band, you get to dot the I in Ohio, and suddenly you're cool.
It's like a massive deal.
Yeah.
They let Jack Nicklaus do it once. It was reported that at least 139 people around the country have said they became sick after eating the breakfast cereal Lucky Charms. 1 or 2 people getting sick could be a coincidence, but 139? That's tragically suspicious.
SNL.
Yeah, Weekend Update.
Yeah.
It was reported that at least 139 people around the country have said they became sick after eating the breakfast cereal Lucky Charms. Well, 1 or 2 people getting sick could be a coincidence, but 139? That's tragically suspicious.
Because of high oil prices, American Airlines is going to use a bus service as an alternative for some short connecting flights. A bus instead of a plane. That's the equivalent of the waiter saying, "We're out of Coke. Is backwash okay?"
Kimmel. Bill Maher.
Fallon.
Listen to this. Amid high oil prices, American Airlines is going to use a bus service as an alternative to some short connecting flights. A bus instead of a plane. It's the equivalent of a waiter saying, "We're out of Coke. Is backwash okay?"
I know sometimes it happens with trains because there's stuff in the track.
Sure.
For an airplane, I'd be like, no, I'm not.
No, that's not what I
went
pay
through
for,
all this
dude.
crap to go through security. Like, I'm getting on the plane.
Everything you have to go through to get on a plane. No.
Disney announced it will soon lift a COVID protocol and once again allow park guests to hug costume characters. Thank God, said an adult male standing next to Jasmine.
SNL.
Disney announced that it will soon lift a COVID protocol and once again allow park guests to hug costumed characters. Thank God, said an adult man standing next to Jasmine.
I watched that one. I was like, oh, I'm using that. I was like, yeah, of course.
Yep. If you're a Disney character, not necessarily Jasmine, but someone in the full outfit, Donald Duck, Chip and Dale, whatever, are you happy that they can hug you again?
I think the full costume characters wouldn't mind as much. I think just because you can only imagine kids crying when they can't hug Donald Duck. So I would imagine that part's good.
It's because he's not wearing pants.
I'm not positive you could really touch a princess, period.
I think you can, and I think the reaction would be swift.
Yeah, I'm trying to, because I have pictures with a lot of characters. I've met some of the princesses, but it never dawned on me like, yeah, you don't hug the, like, she's an adult dressed as a princess. Don't hug her. Don't touch her.
That's the perfect person to hug.
And they escort them through the park these days and put them in designated areas for people who are waiting in line to meet them.
Well, it depends on the character.
Yeah, I would think the princesses, they have to be escorted, right?
Well, it depends, again. Really? I mean, I hate to say this, but it depends on the princess, too.
Oh,
like
no.
Cinderella, you're not going to see out and about.
Of course.
Snow White, I ran into her outside of Mexico once.
What are you doing in Mexico?
It's the first country when you go to Epcot.
I know.
Snow White and Mexican.
What was I doing? I was
going to Cabo.
Got the cocaine.
All right, let's see. Miles, did you ever watch Breaking Bad?
I have not.
All right, you should. It's a very good show.
Yes.
Throw, I'm not even going to bother. I assume
Thank you.
Yeah, I assume you haven't. Have you watched All American yet?
Yeah, no, I haven't.
All right. So, and if you haven't watched Breaking Bad, I was late to that one. Mike finally was like, dude, just watch it. It's a great series. Again, season 2, a little slower because they got to kind of get the storyline going. But one of the biggest characters coming out of Breaking Bad was Saul Goodman, who's not Bryan Cranston, Jesus. What is his name, Mike? I'm blanking here. Better Call Saul is Odenkirk.
Odenkirk.
Right. So his series, Better Call Saul, is pretty good. I just started watching it again because the first half of the last season is out there. But you see, there's some of the characters around there, but Jesse Pinkman hasn't been on there. Basically, the main characters from Breaking Bad haven't been on there yet, right? You haven't seen them. So on Saturday night, the co-creator of the show, he was on a panel. They asked him, like, hey, man, are we ever going to see the two main guys? You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, are we going to see them on there? And he's like, yeah. Basically, I'll summarize. He's like, we've been real squirrely about this. Like, basically, they wanted people to like that show as well.
Before, right, you bring the guys back for nostalgia and all that.
Kind of like Boba Fett and the Mandalorian.
Is it?
They bring Mandalorian
Wait a minute. Just wait a minute. Like this show first, and then we'll bring in these guys.
Right, because as soon as they started the show, right, everybody's like, dude, is Walt and Jesse, like, are they going to be on there? So, Mike, I don't think you're up on Better Call Saul, but as this season has started, you already see it's inching closer and closer to where Breaking Bad leaves off.
Okay, all right.
So, which also, I talk about this all the time, that show had been gone for so long, I had the show amnesia. I had to, like, kind of Google and remind myself what the hell's going on.
Right.
But eventually, yeah, that's one of the surprises. They say they've already, now there's a photo walking or out there of Bryan Cranston and Aaron walking around as Walt and Jesse. Said they're coming back. So you have to imagine they're going to be on there and something cool's going to happen.
Of course. There's no other reason
they wouldn't bring him back for nothing.
No, and Jesse and Walt are two of those characters that, as the show goes on, right? Like Jesse, he is breaking the law, but you really like him.
Sure.
I'm trying to think of another, like, like The Wires. There's a few characters on The Wire that you kind of like, they're bad, dude. Like, they're selling drugs and stuff, but you're like, I like that guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like Bodie was that guy. When you were shocked to see him actually, like, something bad happened to him. But either way, it should be pretty cool. And it's also interesting. I mean, hell, what a massive show.
Yes.
Because, I mean, Better Call Saul is still a massive show. The other one I wanted to talk about today was the food that built America.
Mm-hmm.
I know I've talked about this one a little bit. It's on the history. On History.
The History.
Well, I was going to say the History Channel, but they don't say History Channel anymore. It's just History, right? Kind of like nothing really is a channel anymore, right? It's
sci-fi,
history, discovery.
History, right? Yeah. Nat Geo. Not even National Geographic. We're now Nat Geo, which sounds like a baseball player.
And there's Nat Geo, and there's Nat Geo Wild.
Wow. It's crazy.
Right, which are basically the same shows. They just come out at different times.
Okay.
But it kind of helps if you're somebody like me that watches a lot of shows on National Geographic. You can just be
Nat Geo.
They have a lot on Disney as well. Disney Plus.
Do they? Yeah, I still don't. I still don't have the Disney Plus.
Why do you keep
it's just Disney Plus.
Come on, man.
God damn it. Why do you need all the damn ketchup? So the food that built America is very funny. It's always a different thing. I've told you before about like episodes about like, you have the soda wars and this and that. But some of the fast food stuff is super interesting. Like I remember, right, when I was a kid, and they're talking about fast food last night. It was a lot about Kentucky Fried Chicken.
All right.
And then Wendy's. Kentucky Fried Chicken, I didn't even know this. For a while, they tried to roll out Kentucky roast beef. And it was all, trust me, it was a bad call.
Sounds like something that you find in a trailer.
Yeah.
Come on, let's go. Ooh, Kentucky roast beef.
Yeah. That's a sex move that no one enjoys.
All right, let me ask you this, though. If it wasn't for Kentucky Fried Chicken, would we always just assume the South has fried chicken? I mean, I feel like it does, but like Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Our perception of it, no.
Right, and I'm sure there's good roast beef in Kentucky, but Kentucky roast beef just sounds bad.
Because they started with chicken. It's synonymous. You just and now they're KFC, Ted. They're no longer Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Okay, so and you two will remember this. Mike, unfortunately, is too young. He only knows this world. But do you remember when drive-thrus, right, had a window?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Right, and you used to wait a lot longer and this and that.
But it was still convenient. Even though you had to wait longer, you were still excited because you didn't have to get out of the car.
Right. So it's just like we're just so used to drive-thrus. But originally there was like a barbecue joint somewhere in the South, and that guy said, instead of just coming into my store, I'll have a pickup window. So Dave Thomas at Wendy's likes this, but he noticed at the window, it's taken forever. So he invented the system that we know now of having two windows. You don't get anything done, anything quicker. It just allows the kitchen more time to make the burger.
Sure. Right.
So that people, it's like when you go on a Disney ride, they're always kind of bumping you along. There's something else to look at.
Sure.
So you're spending just as much time in line, but in your mind, you're like, this is so much faster.
Okay. All right.
Plus, money's one thing, food's the other.
Correct. Yeah. It's also interesting that Wendy's was getting crushed in the 80s by everybody moving to everybody's moving to the suburbs, like Burger King, McDonald's, they're already on it. So in a stroke of genius, the other big places were scared to put restaurants in quote unquote bad neighborhoods. And Wendy said, "Oh, we'll put them in there."
Yeah,
like Church's Fried Chicken.
And they developed, and that's really what really sent Wendy's into that like top tier of fast food restaurants.
It makes sense. Look, man, one thing about fast food, aside from its convenience, is the cost. Quote unquote bad neighborhoods, as everyone likes to call them. Like, you got something economical, that's probably worth. There's a reason, and I don't know this to be true, but I'm guessing there's not a Dollar Tree on Mercer Island. I don't know. I have not looked. But
I
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if it's cost effective or cost efficient, go to a place where money is real tight, and you'll dominate, right?
Well, I thought it was very interesting. Right, I'm watching the show last night, and it's like, good for you, Wendy's. Like going in where people wouldn't want to be, and then I'm like, wait a minute, I grew up near two Wendy's.
I was just saying, man,
what the hell?
You may have been one of the first neighborhoods.
That was the most popular fast food place in all of West Virginia. Granted, it was invented in Ohio, so they kind of migrated there first. But
well, I'm like, I bet you did have some Wendy's around your ass.
You can stop into a 50-person town, there's a Wendy's, and everybody in that town is there.
Yeah. But anyhow, the food that built America, that's on History. I highly recommend it.
I recommend shows like that because, it sounds dumb. My buddy Rob Lowe, between like his pop culture stuff and fast food, when you put it together, you get a very glorious, very accurate, and an exceptionally relatable history of America for at least the last 50 years, right? Because you hear about World War I, World War II, the Civil War, right? That's a different kind of history. This is stuff that you conveniently use now, and it's staggering how much it changed just the trajectory of how we live.
I enjoy modern pop culture.
Right, and that's the thing too. Is like when you watch it, like the show's about food. Don't get me wrong, but you learn other things too. That
absolutely
right. As everybody's moving out of the city, some of these areas are going to be like there's not jobs, so they're going to get a little more run down. You also realize that a state like Ohio, they put more money into building roads and highways than anybody else. Like we joke about driving through Ohio, but at least they were smart enough to be like, all right, people are going to cruise through here. And that's why all those fast food joints.
On toll roads.
You proliferate, man. Absolutely.
There's also a weird story about McDonald's and how somebody from either McDonald's or Burger King, they were working together, and I'm not sure exactly what happened, but they obviously had a difference of opinion.
Dave Thomas was working for the Colonel.
Is that what it there was one in California, too.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it was a burger thing, and I can't remember if it's Burger King or McDonald's, but it was basically two people who were invested in the same idea, and one went, the hell with it, I'm doing this. And then the other one did McDonald's. But technically, like, the Burger King is the first.
Right.
Even though you always think McDonald's.
But because of McDonald's, they put a lot of their money into research, right? So McDonald's is like Disney, where they grab us as kids. And we can talk smack about McDonald's. Everybody does. But in the end, everyone has kind of a soft spot for it, right? And that's where they invested their money to make sure, like, look, if we can just build loyalty, right, just get you from the go, get you from trying to put the Happy Meals out and put toys in the Happy Meals, like, you'll always... Whatever you think of their food and all the rest of the crap that goes with it, it's always kind of a positive memory of McDonald's. Where Burger King started concentrating on food, right, the quality of food and all that, and their big thing became the flame broiled. So they said, like, you can't duplicate what McDonald's has done. In fact, they did a taste test with kids, all right? They had like 10 kids, and I want to say they had burgers from, not just the burgers, but all to look the same. But it was McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, you name it. But they put them in the packaging. And like 98% of the kids said, I like McDonald's best. And I go, okay, we're going to try another burger. Well, they just put a Whopper in the McDonald's wrapper. And 98% of kids still like McDonald's. And so McDonald's realized, and McDonald's is not the person that started this study, but what they realized was if McDonald's puts their wrapper on something, as far as children go, that's what they want. It doesn't matter. If McDonald's took a dog turd and wrapped it up, those kids, they want that dog turd more than they want chicken nuggets from Burger King.
Another interesting aspect of McDonald's is they manufacture this smell where, granted, if you get a salad, this is not going to apply. But if you were to get
the salad smells like salad,
an egg McMuffin and hash browns, when that bag gets in your car, it smells like McDonald's. If you were to get a Big Mac value meal in the afternoon, that bag smells the same as the bag that you put in for breakfast. If you get 2 Big Macs and no fries, that bag smells the same as a Big Mac and a large fry. The smell is always consistent, and the smell is McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
look, it's one of those things. Let's see. Tonight, what are you going to watch? I know Thrill, he'll be home watching a brand new episode of All American at 8 p.m. And then first show you guys liked when you were growing up. Watch Jimmy Kimmel tonight. He's got on,
the fun.
Henry Winkler.
All right.
Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it. You are listening to The Men's Room.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go to Florida, where a dad should have never opened his daughter's package with a strap-on stroker inside. Florida deputies pull over a 31-year-old with a 4-foot alligator, also taking along for the ride. Florida man flies to Boston, so what better time to rub one out? Florida woman attacks girlfriend with her cat and makes her scream and shout. And a man finds out his cane has a sword inside. Unfortunately, by the TSA. And it's time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my cop.
Our top story we take to the skies, where a man in his 70s apparently doesn't know how to behave on a plane. He was seated next to a woman in her 20s who managed to get a video of the man fondling himself over his pants shortly after takeoff. Not long afterwards, she noticed that the man had completely exposed his penis as he continued to abuse himself, and even at one point had placed his hand on the victim's thigh. The flight from Newark landed at its destination in Boston, and the man was arrested after she alerted authorities. When I heard how short that flight was, I got a little bit more angry.
Dude, it's 200 miles from Newark, New Jersey, to Boston, Massachusetts.
I equate it to our flight from here in Seattle over to Spokane that I've done a handful of times.
Right, so imagine you can, even if you're just like, man, I'm so horny, I would like to think you have the self-control. Either go into the bathroom and do it if you really desperately need to do it, or you can't wait.
Not only that, but you're 76 years old.
Right.
So this is not a quick business trip. I understand people jump on a plane.
Time is money, whippersnapper!
To fly to Portland real quick, or Vancouver real quick. And
Right.
That's the equivalent. But most of the time, if you don't have anything better to do, you drive.
Right. Now, to be fair, at 76, I got to feel
You kinda don't care.
You don't get a whole lot of opportunities either. Like, bam, here it's at.
I'm
Okay.
flossing the dolphin.
Right.
Well, and there's a good chance. So I think they said connecting. So he's probably flying from somewhere else.
Oh, there you go.
Still.
Yeah.
Only because I've done flights that are like that. That are like 40 minutes. But it's only because you didn't have a car.
And the chick she was 21 years old, and he just reached over and touched her thigh. That's what she's
right.
like, dude, I'm trying to be cool, man, but that's stop.
Right. I was kind of cool with you just doing your thing over there.
Ignore it.
Right. But then you bring me into the mix. Thank you very much for just confirming my suspicions. In other news, still at the Boston airport, a man was stopped by TSA for unknowingly concealing a weapon. The man was going through security, but a red flag came up as his cane went through screening. Unbeknownst to him, he had been using a cane that had a sword hidden inside of it. He told security that he had no idea of the weapon, and after a short period was able to continue his travels.
That's what I like. They legitimately believe, like, this guy's like, I got what?
Right.
And they had to show him how it's... First time I ever saw that, man, it was in Baltimore, which made sense there. But it was his umbrella. This guy, Danny, he's like, you ever seen this? And he goes, shit. Like, Jesus, dude.
My stepfather had a cane that had little tubes in it, little test tubes with cork stoppers.
Okay.
And that was used for smuggling liquor into athletic events.
Nice.
So he would always use his cane, walk in, no one ever said a word, then he'd open up the bottom. There's like 4 of those.
Anybody need a drink?
Yeah.
I feel like I heard that somewhere that like most of the weaponry that TSA intercepts, they have no idea that it's there.
They don't. You got to think about the average person. You go, people are stupid, whatever. But as far as that goes, everyone's up on most of the TSA rules,
right?
And you certainly know what hand grenades, handguns, and so like So, and even the TSA is like most people, not all, most of them, they were fully unaware that it was with them.
Right.
Some people, they just grab the old bag that they take everywhere on the weekend.
Exactly.
One thing I've learned, I wouldn't say it's connected to drugs, but it's connected to drugs. But I have one particular bag / suitcase that I use anytime I travel on a plane.
Okay.
Because nothing illegal has ever been in it. Every other time we travel, and my wife's one that made me paranoid because, they got the dogs walking around, and you don't know what they're sniffing for, but she's always, do you have anything on you? I'm like, dude, if I do, I don't know that I do. And then that proved to be true. We flew down to San Francisco like 10, 12 years ago. Everyone went through TSA. It was a big station thing. Check out Metallica, right?
Sure.
We land in San Francisco. The hotel isn't ready yet. We all go to this Irish pub. We go to pay the tab. I open my wallet, and there's a joint. And
nice.
I had no idea that it was there.
Damn.
And then we smoked the hell out of it.
We go to Florida where a father opened a package clearly not for him. He opened his door to an Amazon package addressed to his daughter that he took the liberty of unboxing to find a strap-on sex device.
Yeah.
He confronted his daughter, who then flew into a rage, trying to run from the conversation, and when the father grabbed her to keep her there, she unleashed a barrage of punches and kicks upon him, telling that she hated him and wanted to kill him.
Why would you confront them about it? It's not illegal. You just go, it's like walking on your kid masturbating. Go, okay, no, we will not talk.
I'm not sure about. I know mail federally, it's illegal to open up someone else's package.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's that for sure.
So, I'm not saying that she did not overreact. But as a father and a parent, if something is addressed to one of my children, I don't open it up when the package or the letter arrives. I just put it in a pile so when they come home, Like, here's what you missed.
Certainly when they're of that age.
Sure.
And that is it for your headlines. With that, Mike Hawk is out.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. Men's Room Happy Hour is up next. More Men's Room exclusively on the Odyssey app. We'll see you in just a few minutes.
Yes, indeed, it's all true. But in the meantime, we be all about this bitch for about 180 seconds or so. So until then, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network. Oh, man! A Double Flush production.